this lesson, I'm going to talk a bit about how to create a sense of call and response when you're improvising over an A vamp by using a changing bass line, adding in a couple of bass runs to your alternating thumb. And if you want to download the example that I just played, if you want to get the tab for that, you can go to the link below or the link on screen, sign up for my mailing list, and download a PDF that's got that example I just played all written out. So the idea is we've got the alternating thumb on this A vamp. We've got minor pentatonic licks. And then we've got these bass runs. And then, so it's kind of taking like this sort of Magic Sam boogie with these minor pentatonic licks and then adding in these sort of John Lee Hooker moves with the bass. It's as good a way as any as I can think of to describe it. And so let me just break down a bit of what's going on and then talk about how you can kind of get beyond the fixed licks that I played in the opening example into sort of improvising a bit with this. But the thumb is playing 5th string, 4th string, 6th string, 4th string in the first measure. And then in the next measure, you play half a bar, so 5th string, 4th string, and then switch to playing the flat 3rd and the 4th. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then in the next two measures, measures 3 and 4, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're constantly taking that alternating thumb and adding something at the end of every 2 bars to kind of break things up, make it a little more interesting, give it some motion. So the licks you play, because we're playing this bass line, we're basically trying to get licks that end within the first couple of beats of the second measure of the phrase. So, and then you're free to just play that bass run. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I don't know why I try to count those out. It's always a disaster when I try to count and play the licks at the same time. But that's the idea. The licks are short enough that they fit inside that sort of bar and a half window. 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. And then I played a couple other licks in there too. And then this one. So just to give some different examples of kinds of licks you could play. So really, like, we've got the minor pentatonic on top here. It's just the root, flat 3rd, 4th, 5th, flat 7, and then I'm also adding in the 6 sometimes to make things a little brighter. Just because I like that sound and it kind of makes things sound a little less dark. So the idea is just to get this going and make sure you know where those bass moves are going to fall. And then you slowly work out the licks on top. So you just take a move you want to play. Let's say that's what you want to play. So 1, 2, 3, and 1. And then you have to figure out, well, how does that sit over the thumb? Or so the idea is, what's the bass doing? Then what's the melody doing? Then what do you have to do to put them together? And it really helps to know first the bass, then the melody, and then try to see what the timing is. Where you pinch, where are you playing in between the pinches? And does it fit within that bar and a half? Yes, it does. And you could take one lick and try it with both of those different bass riffs. So coming here to the flat third and the fourth, and then to the fifth and the flat seven. And then you could also look at, well, how can I change the ending of that lick? Here it ends on the fourth. We could end it back on the root. Right, so now we've got our own new phrase, right? Because it goes up, it goes down, it's answered two different ways. Right, and so you could even answer it going up to the fifth, or you start to find different ways to vary it. And the whole idea is getting more out of any one small piece of information so that you can start to expand and draw it out so that you come up with one idea, like this phrase, and you can spin it into 4 or 8 measures just by changing the way you end it and changing the bass run that you answer it with. So you could even make it shorter. So it's not that much shorter, but that's the idea. What else can you do with it? And so the idea is just you have this structure that you're going to drop your improvising into. And so now if you have the bass line down and you have these different answers, then you can come up with short phrases and work them out yourself over the thumb, and then just start to build a vocabulary of stuff you can drop in so that when you're playing on this kind of vamp, you have a vocabulary of different things you can start to try to use, and you understand how to make new phrases beyond the ones that you've sort of learned or memorized. And then, of course, you can start to fold this into a whole chord progression, right? You don't have to just use it on a vamp. If you went to, the 4 chord, a lot of these licks would sound great over, say, a D chord with the F sharp in the bass. Right, and now we're using that little bass spot at the end on beats 3 and 4 to walk chromatically into the D chord, or to walk chromatically back up to the A chord. So now, we can start to play the blues. Right, and we've got going between the 1 and the 4 and doing a bunch of other stuff. So the whole thing can start to expand, but the core of it is this little call and response idea. So that's the idea. Again, if you want to download the tab for that opening example, go to the link below, the link on screen, sign up for my mailing list, download the PDF, and I'll see you next time.